Welcome to the Rob, Comrade, and Kale Show. Rob Sanders.
I don't care. My jokes don't go over. I don't care.
Comrade Mike Dobreski.
I don't care. We hate you. I don't care.
And Kale Hall.
This is stupid. Making noises on the show. You're like a crazy person. Why do you do this to your father and I?
The Rob, Comrade, and Kale podcast.
And welcome into the Rob, Comrade, and Kale podcast. I'm Rob Sanders. I have a couple of co-hosts. We'll start with the Mad Russian, the upset Russian. He is the Comrade, Mike Dobreski. Mike, good evening, sir.
It's a great day to be a Gamecock, a little 2-0 day. It's always great winning 2 games in one day. Lady Gamecocks took out Gonzaga, a ranked Gonzaga team, number 1 team in the country. And, of course, the men got their shit together today and took out Tulsa. So a 2-0 day in the land of Gamecocks, and we'll take anything we can get right now. And it looks like Shane Beamer ball is coming to Columbia by all the tea leaves I'm reading. We can talk about that later on, I guess.
Yeah, there we go. I also have the third member of the show. He is Kale Hall. Kale, what's up, buddy?
What's up? Glad to be here. My favorite night of the week. Used to be. It's my favorite night of the week. And want to give a shout out to everybody over there watching on YouTube live. I said there's 15 of you so far. Please share the show. Shout it out, do whatever. Hit the thumbs up button if you're in. The Carolina Jackpot channel is just a hair away from hitting 9,000 subscribers as a channel. So we're growing. The goal is to get 10,000 within the next 6 weeks. And with your help, we can do it. It's been growing at a really rapid pace. So there we go with that. And as Mike alluded to, it looks like Beamer ball is coming to Columbia. Not exactly thrilled about that, but it is what it is, and I'm here to support whoever. I'm here to do my job.
We can talk about that too, because Kale and I are on the kind of the same page with Beamer, and it's being misconstrued as that we hate Shane Beamer, and it's not that at all. It's just that we prefer other options. But at this point now, I've kind of accepted. And listen, maybe it's a good thing, because my number one guy last time was Will Muschamp. Didn't fucking work. So maybe if my second, probably Beamer's probably my second choice. The Hugh Freeze thing is kind of weird. There's a devil on my shoulder that says, he could get you some wins really quick. So, he's kind of in there. But Beamer's probably my second choice, though, I would say. It's Napier, number 1. It's a clear 1 for me. And then it's probably Beamer. I don't like Chadwell. I don't like Chadwell. Hugh Freeze. I have to, have to deal with some things. And then listen. I get on board with Beamer. At this point, he's the easiest person to hire right now to get things kind of going. Because one thing too with recruiting, signing period, and transfer portal. He can be hired by tomorrow and start working tomorrow. Oklahoma doesn't need him. He can, start getting the staff together tomorrow. So I think that's part of it too. But we will see. We have
to thank our sponsors, of course, Callaway's Bar and Grill out in West Columbia, Highway 1 diagonal from the Walmart. They sponsor the Callaway's Pick'em Challenge. We'll go over that shortly. Also, Dennis Wilson from D&C Trucking and Transport. The No Spin Zone segment with the Comrade. Comrade, read away.
It sucks to be – hold on. Okay. It sucks to be a Gamecock. Clemson is the elite program in the state of South Carolina. I am now behind Matt Tomlinson in the Pick'em Challenge, and this is upsetting to me. My picks are as disappointing as a Will Muschamp coach football team. Matt Tomlinson knows more football than I can ever dream of knowing. Travis Etienne is a better running back than Kevin Harris is. Only dummies and people who drink paint would think otherwise. Pray for Ryan Hilinski. He was lied to by the current coaching staff. My team is so pitiful. We are hiring a coach who has spent 20 years coaching and has no coordinator experience. It sucks to be a Gamecock. Go Tigers.
All facts from Dennis Wilson, DNC Trucking and Transport. Appreciate Dennis sponsoring the show. And
I think it's hilarious that Tater fan laughs at South Carolina potentially hiring a coach of no coordinator experience when they have a coach who has no coordinator experience.
Well, a lot of them don't know that. A lot of them just think Dabo was there. They don't know that. They don't know the whole story behind it.
Tell you where Dabo went to college or anything.
Yeah, they don't know that Clemson basically didn't have the money. They were afraid of asking out the good-looking girl and getting told no. And so they go, let's just stay in house and make it simple. We're poor. Let's just do it that way. They forget all about that because they weren't fans back then. They weren't fans back then.
All right, so Comrade, did you drop off? What happened to your mic? I didn't touch your mic, Mike. You did something wrong over there. You unplugged something or something. I didn't do it. You can see my hands. By the way, the only people that the only thing with Beamer is that Beamer has been coaching for 20 years and no one thought to give him a coordinator job. He begged for this job to come to South Carolina. So that's my knock on him. I don't know. He may end up being great. I don't know.
I mean, listen, my concern is he's had no coaching experience. I'm not worried about the coordinator thing. Okay, there's a guy named Urban Meyer who never had a coordinator job. I don't know if you knew that before. But, you know, the key that he's going to – listen, the issue is, number one, here's why I'm starting to kind of warm up to him. Number one, all the former players –
Can we be honest with our listeners here?
Well,
if South Carolina hired a piece of dog shit, you would get a Coach Dog Shit t-shirt.
Listen, I find the good in all people. That's what I do, okay?
Sure you do.
I can look at a bum in the street and find something. I say, listen, I find the good in people. Okay, but listen, I like the fact that the former players all want him back. And that's good. You have buy-in from the former players like Lattimore and those guys. The only issue I have with and this is where Gamecock fans and I argue about, because they think I'm like against him, is when Gamecock fans act like he's the reason the Gamecocks had 3 straight 11-win seasons. Like he was the key part. He wasn't. And I'm not trying to trash him. I'm just stating facts that he wasn't a big part of that. He was part of it. He was there. He saw it, which is a good thing. That he sees what's possible there. 3 top 10 finishes. He sees it, but don't act like we need to hire him because he's going to bring that back, that magic touch he had. He didn't have much to do with that. That's all my point is. But I like the fact he wants this job. It's his dream job. He doesn't want to go to Virginia Tech. He doesn't want to go in his dad's shadows. This is the job he wants. And so the key is, can he hire some coordinators, really good coordinators, veteran coordinators who aren't looking for stepping stone jobs, who aren't looking to, go somewhere else for a head coaching job, and build a solid program, get the culture back, get the fans back, get the alumni back, and do that. So,
go ahead, Kale.
No, the biggest selling point, and more so than any of those assistant coaches that recruited there at that particular point in time, biggest selling point of that program was the fact that Steve Spurrier was the head coach. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and Tommy Bowden got fired.
Mm-hmm. That too.
Because he's the catalyst of that high five.
And Brandon Kuhn, my son, makes a great point. Beamer's dad was a great coach. Listen, he's been around a lot of great coaches. And so he's going to have – and fuck the Bears, by the way. But anyway, he's been around a lot of great coaches. So he has lots of people to pull from. He has lots of people to go to, lots of people to get kind of experience from. I'm sure he's been thinking about this day for a long time, what he will do if he's head coach. So I'm not saying he's not – listen, I hope he's the best coach in Gamecock history. But there's more question marks about him than there is like Billy Napier. Doesn't mean Billy Napier is going to be great here. Billy Napier may come here and suck balls. And Shane Beamer may come here and become, Beamer Drive in 15, 20 years, like Cal said, Williams-Brice Stadium, after he gets 3 national titles. I don't know, but I'm just saying. Obviously, right now, it looks like he's the guy. I mean, from every report I hear, and I don't have any more inside. I used to have an inside little info to the board of trustees back in the day, but that's dried up, so I don't have that anymore. But I'm hearing Beamer, and I think a lot of it is I think they have Beamer and Napier all tied pretty much, and they're saying they're tied up, but Beamer we can hire right now. He can get in here now, start recruiting, start getting transfers, start getting the coaching staff. With Billy Napier, we have to wait until God knows when. He's not going to leave his team.
Doesn't
do
Billy
that,
Napier have COVID anyway? Or
he's got COVID as well too. He could die. No, I'm not trying to be, but he could.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, how can he interview? I mean, I'm sure this is something that they would interview for in person, right?
Yeah, yeah. And Cal's got COVID too, so Cal's not interviewing anybody. He's probably getting Zoom calls and all that stuff. So
Phil Kornblut reported that this morning that it looked like it was going to be Shane Beamer. Billy Napier, I thought was the better hire in my opinion, but I don't know the ins and outs of what's going on as far as how much they're willing to spend as they continue to pay for the last disaster staff that was here. I do know Josh Pate was on my show the other day and said that the only thing keeping Billy Napier away was they were a long way off as far as money goes. So I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just telling you that's what Josh Pate told me. It's not like Josh Pate's going to sit here and feed me lies about it. That's just what he was told, Napier wanted more, etc. So there's that.
And that's a mark for Beamer too, just because, for Beamer, he'll take less money because I think his plan is I want to have an unbelievable coaching staff. I think what he's selling is to Tanner and Caslin is if you hire me, here's the guys I'm bringing in, A, B, C, D, and, I'll take this much money as long as I can pay. This is what it'll take to get this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, okay, and do it that way. So I think that's his plan, is be kind of the CEO coach. I'm not thinking he'll have his head like Dabble listens to Tony Robbins during the game and thinks of funny quotes. I don't think he'll do that, but he'll be more along those lines of kind of the coordinators will coach. Okay,
so we're going to have a low budget head coach and some high budget coordinators.
That's what I think the plan is. I think that's what he's selling, like, and I think that works with the money issue right now. Is that the whole Napier thing, and it makes sense with the money. Napier wants to get paid like a mid-tier SEC coach. Yeah. I think Beamer is happy getting paid as a lower tier SEC coach as long as he gets the coordinators in there. So I think that's the difference.
We haven't asked Virtual Kale what he thinks. Virtual Kale, what do you think of Shane Beamer?
Oh, fuck. Now we might not win. Sucks.
Sorry. Virtual Kale with his opinion. Virtual Kale makes me happy. I don't know.
Kale said something different for a change.
But that's a valid statement from Virtual Kale. Come on.
Oh, fuck. Now we might not win. Sucks.
Oh shit. You know what? Why don't we just take calls tonight? We'll go over the stuff with the Callaway's Pick'em Challenge. Comrade, you want to break that down while I get the phones moving here? Kale, you want to talk about your picks? What you got there, Comrade?
We do need to address one thing now. We have to address something. It's an elephant in the room. On the podcast on Wednesday, Rob took the Gamecocks over Georgia because he promised weeks earlier he would take the Gamecocks over Georgia. So he did the whole thing on the podcast, and then once off the air, the next day he slinked away with tail between his legs and changed his pick to Georgia. Do you want to go ahead and address that? Because I'm getting emails. I don't care. I don't care. Emails about it. The fact that you broke your word. You broke your word.
The reason that I changed my mind is because if you go and buy a parlay card and the line swings 4 points in any general direction, the parlay card is generally off the table. The Broncos and the Saints were pulled off the table today because all of the Broncos people got COVID.
But you changed it the next day, though. That show was off for 10 hours. You changed it.
Because I thought Shi Smith was going to play. Shi Smith was ruled out.
He wasn't ruled out the next day. He was not ruled out. He was not ruled out on Thursday. Don't lie. I am not going to let you lie in here.
I'm not lying.
not going to let you lie. He was not ruled out. He was not ruled out on Thursday.
According to my sources, he was out. So
he was not ruled out. When you told me, you said nothing about Shi Smith.
I don't care. According to my sources, he was out.
Don't lie. Don't lie.
I'm not lying.
Be honest with our listeners.
Sources, he was out.
Be honest with our listeners. You went back on your word. You went back on your word.
Not on my word because things changed.
Nothing changed from Wednesday night to Thursday morning. Nothing changed.
Hold on. Let me mute your mic. Shut up.
Nothing.
Here's what's changed on that front. When I made that prediction, Georgia was running Stedman Jackass out there. So Georgia had a brand new quarterback. South Carolina has a brand new coach and a different quarterback, and they lost their starting wide receiver. So all of it changed. Those are the things that are changed. You know, like
Wednesday night, you still took the Gamecocks, though.
JT Daniels played.
I went through things. I went through the things, and the things had changed.
But didn't you?
The things had changed. Sorry.
Nothing changed from Wednesday to Thursday morning.
Everything
now, if you had balls, you would have said on Wednesday night, listen, I know I made that prediction. Okay. On Wednesday night, you said, I know I made that prediction before, but I'm going back on it now because the things changed. People understood. Instead, you stuck with the Gamecocks, then changed off air the next day.
Going to play.
And now you're lying about it. Now you're lying. You cannot lie about it. Just say you did not have the balls on air to go back on your word.
Whatever you need to know there, comrade. I went and submitted my picks within the deadline.
I know. I'm just saying.
Some of us submit good picks, and some of us submit.
You went back on your word, but we're afraid to do it on air. You were dead to do it on the air. You could have done it on air. Okay. Nothing changed from Wednesday to Thursday.
Yeah. Well, according to my sources, they did. So
nothing
I don't
changed. That is not true. That is not true.
I don't have to out my sources to you minions.
Don't.
Anyway, the Callaway's football pick'em contest leading the way is, and by the way, I want to make sure that people know up at the top of this thing, and it's kind of the cream does rise to the top. The first, you don't have a Gamecock that's in the mix until, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, the first Gamecock is Matt Hewlett at 49 picks.
Well, I don't know who Michael Tungor is.
Michael Tungor is
a Gamecock. I'm positive.
No, he's not. He's an LSU fan.
No,
same thing goes with the rest of them up there. But Ben Simmons is Edwin Reeves is an LSU fan. You want to bet me on that?
Keller Bruni is a Gamecock.
I'm not what I said he was.
You want to bet me on that? You want to bet me on that?
Mark McCurry is a Gamecock fan. Trust me.
Mark McCurry is not a Gamecock fan.
Trust me on that.
He's not a Gamecock fan. Anyway, it's all Clemson and other teams. The Gamecocks don't know anything about football. They're 12th. That's the first one there. But Ben Simmons leads the way with 56 points. I'm behind him 3 picks back at 53, along with Taylor Bruni, and Edwin Reeves is at 52. As we look down the list, we do have some movement here. Michael Tungor got a 7. That's a perfect on the week, so congratulations to him. Let's see here. There was one other interesting note here. Oh, Jackpot has finally passed Jackpot Jr. Congratulations, Jackpot.
Congratulations, I guess. Still, I would be up there in the 50s, like 50, 51, if I had to pick that stupid fucking Coastal team every week. That's where a lot of my shit has been fucked up at.
They destroyed that team. Good Lord.
Yeah, well, I have to scroll down to the bottom to find the comrade here. He is behind Matt Tomlinson now. Comrade, if you keep up with the pace that you're at, you might get the golden penis.
I'm on that way, but it's been tough. It's been really weird. I sent you guys a text earlier. So I'm in an NFL contest too, And when I was red hot in college, like red hot, I could not pick an NFL game to save my life. Like I wasn't dead last in that contest, and I wasn't first in this contest. Well, things have changed. I'm now red hot in the NFL. I'm about to win this week's contest and win like $200. But my college picks are – so I can't do both at the same time, apparently. I can't be – I'm either right in one or wrong in the other. So it's been a weird year for sure.
Yeah, well, this is – and I'm not goofing on you, Mike.
That's what Gamecock football's done to
Holy shit, Kale. This is your worst performance ever. I don't think I've ever seen you this far down in the standings.
It's been bad. It's been bad. The only silver lining in this though is that the way it's gone this year is it's been fun to laugh at Tomlinson, because when he was really far back, he was all about one. He didn't think the contest was really legit because I picked the games, and then he didn't care about it. And now that he's ahead of me, he's been posting for like 24 straight hours about how excited he is. So it's been fun to do that. If I can come back now and then, end up finishing strong, you can see like the waves of the Tomlinson. He'll go back saying it doesn't matter and he doesn't care about it. So it's been fun.
All right, so there you go. There's the Callaway's Pick'em Challenge. We can talk a little bit about the game, or we can take your calls on what you think about Shane Beamer. 803-470-2905. 803-470-2905. Man, people are all over the top rope with some of this. Look at this. Percy Von Higginbottom says Will Muschamp will be inducted into the South Carolina Hall of Fame. I know who runs the South Carolina Hall of Fame, and Will Muschamp is not going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's not happening. Let's take a call, gentlemen. This is probably – good evening. Welcome into the show.
This is Michael Pongor, the guy who's done really well, and just so you know, I am a Clemson fan.
That is bullshit. Bullshit. Prove it.
It's true. It's true. My dad went to. I take against the Gamecocks every single time.
That doesn't mean anything. You could be doing reverse psychology. I need to see proof.
Hold on.
I was told by a close personal friend of yours you are a Gamecock club member. That's what I was told.
Comrade, he got 7 picks correct this week. You've gotten 4 in the past 2 weeks. So
it's been a tough time. There's
that. Hey, Michael, thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate you, buddy. Anything else you want to say to the comrade? Oh, he just wanted to make it. No, I don't support that shithole. Let me get on that.
Dennis Wilson, not the Dennis Wilson of DNC Trucking and Transport. The Dennis Wilson Miami fan over on YouTube says Scar would be a fool to hire Beamer. This is a supporter of the program that has hired such geniuses as Randy Shannon, Al Golden, Mark Ricks, retread times 3, and now whatever the latest clown is down there. Sir, you would know about fuck-up coaches.
Yeah. Sippy Sports Show says he wants to be on the show. 803-470-2905. I'm surprised Texas A&M fan will call us later on and talk to us about how Texas A&M is the second coming of Christ.
Well, listen, I will say this. Their defense is unreal. Kellen Mond looked horrible. But their defense, I mean, maybe our defense is really bad, because I watched the LSU team go up and down the field on us, and they look like they couldn't do anything as A&M. But I mean, it's so weird watching games. But don't you find the same way, Kale, when you watch like the Gamecocks play? Then you go watch teams that we played this year and play against each other, and it's like,
it's not really a good litmus test for anything.
Yeah,
watching the Gamecocks play,
it's like you can't tell. Like, damn, LSU's offense really sucks. Like, why could we get 52 to them? And then, like, you see, it's just really weird.
It's like weird. Did you see? I saw on the ticker a while ago that Terrence Marshall, is that his name, for LSU, the receiver they had, the one they have that's worth of shit, he opted out. Opted out for what? What do they have? 2 games left?
Yeah.
He's
That
gone.
was in Alabama and Florida, right?
Fuck it, I'm out.
So he just did. He didn't want to get his ass beat 2 weeks in a row. So he just.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Shi Smith has said that he's leaving the program too. He's going to go. I don't know if he's going to play this weekend or not, but he's going to head to the NFL, so he will not be back for South Carolina next year.
Luke Doty's officially a starter next week in Kentucky. That was named today. And apparently, Luke brought in the. I will say this now, and the Gamecocks were. I think they're down 20 players in that Georgia game, and I mean they had no chance at hell. But
respectfully, they were down 23 players. So
they were. I mean I like the fact that they played hard. I mean, and I'm not trying to get a moral trophy victory, but Kevin Harris on that fourth down run, just the fact that he was down, he battled back at the first down. I mean, they fought hard. It's just, I mean, it's really bad. But I'll give them credit there. But we'll see if they can maybe get a win. I'm curious next week, how they come out. I mean, they can come out like we don't give a shit. They can come out like let's end on a good note. But I'm glad it's over.
Caller, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, this is Eric. I'm out in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. I just
Eric, how you doing, man?
Yeah, man, I'm doing great, man. Jackpot, you're one of my favorite. Even if you're a Gamecock man, just want you to know that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Eric, by the way, is training to become an officer in the military. So, salute to you, sir. We appreciate what you're doing for our country and spending some time to call in on our shitty podcast here. Thank you for that, sir.
Yeah, man, of course. I was curious, what's up with Ryan Hilinski? I mean, I think the kid should be able to play, and I'm just curious why it seems like they're not giving him a chance. Have you guys heard that he's hurt or something?
He's not hurt, and they're not really saying anything, putting anything out there. It's just that they kind of. I personally think that he didn't really mesh well with what Bobo wants to do. And I think Bobo was sold on Colin Hill. And Bobo even said, hey, he's got footwork issues, etc. So I don't know if he's going to transfer or not, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, first of all, he's behind the eight ball. It's a brand new offense. There's no spring practice. The kid coming in has ran the offense for 5 years, okay? And so that's the first thing. Plus, they're both the same type of quarterback. They're both statues in the pocket. And so they're making the change now to Doty, not so much because Doty's playing better, but because with the fact we have no receivers and our line blows dick, your only shot is to put a quarterback back there who can kind of escape and buy time and do that. Hilinski can't do that either. So, I mean, so it's not really – I know everyone wants to paint it as, Hilinski's being left out. It's just because, I'm convinced that say if we had all our receivers and our line was really good, I think you would see Hilinski. I think it's just because Hilinski will not have success right now in this offense the way it's built with the fact that he has no weapons and no line. You need a guy back there like Doty who can kind of do some things with his feet, legs, and whatever. But I heard some rumors too that his work ethic isn't great. I don't know. I've heard that from more than a couple people. The same things I heard about Connor Mitch back in the day. Remember that name? I thought the next coming. No, I mean this is true. I mean Connor Mitch. You guys forget this, man. And listen, this is why I don't pay shit attention to recruits. Okay, this is my first lesson. Connor Mitch, I was convinced that he was the next coming, all based on shit I've read on guru.recruitnet, okay? And yet, the bitch can never get to second string, okay? Like, he was always like third string still. I kept asking some people, this is back when I had more connections, people who were at practice. I'm like, why the hell can he even get the second string? What's going on? And he's like, oh, he's like a piece of shit. He doesn't work hard, doesn't go in the film room. He goes out to party. He's like Garcia, only not as talented. I'm like, oh. And so when he finally did get a shot, I think he played like one game. That was in that game in Charlotte.
I went to that. He was awful.
Yeah, and he looked like
9 for 25 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Really bad.
So I don't know. So I'm not hearing that Hilinski's like counter Mitch, because but I'm hearing his work ethic maybe isn't quite as strong as Bobo wants. Maybe he's not meshing well with Bobo. I don't know. But the main reason why they're not playing now is because Hilinski would get killed right now. Connor Hill is getting killed. So you put a guy back there who can run around a little bit and buy some time. So if I'm Hilinski, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't go see should transfer. I wouldn't transfer. I'd wait to see what you have for coach coming in and so forth. I mean, and try to come on with a new offense. Hopefully, we're back to normal and have a spring practice and spring ball and whatever offense we're putting in. Everyone's got the same chance of learning it, and then you go by who's better at that point. That way, no one's got an advantage. Connor Hill had an advantage. What they call him, Connor Hill, Colin Hill. Good Lord, I messed up my Connors, my Mitches, my Shaws, my Doties. So if I'm Hilinski, I wouldn't go anywhere. I hope it doesn't go anywhere. We need quarterback depth, but go back. You got a new coach coming in, new impressions to make. You got a new offense coming in. Everyone's got the same chance to learn it, and let's see who's better. And if you don't beat anybody out, then maybe you can think about transferring. But so we'll see.
All right. Hey, Eric, do you have anything else, buddy, you want to go over?
No, that was really about it. I'll take your stuff off I'm watching you guys on YouTube right now, but I am wondering how many you think we'll run it out to with Uyunglele. I think we can get to 10, especially 10 in a row. Be pretty good. Anyway, you guys have a good night. Go Tigers.
Fucking jackass. Who was that again? Who called? What's his name?
You will not be disrespecting a future officer in our United States military, sir.
Who was that?
Not have it. That is Eric O'Brien. Eric Bryant. Or it's Eric O'Brien. Yeah. So shout out to Eric for he said they're gonna get.
You know what? Maybe we won't play. Clemson won't play for 5 more years, bitches. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you can't lose.
That's right.
You don't
didn't
schedule
score this year. Offense didn't score on our defense this year. One of the worst game defense of all time. The Clemson this year? No. Goose egg. Bam.
That's funny.
I'm going to average Trevor Lawrence's point total against the Gamecocks in his history too. How many points did Clemson put up on Trevor Lawrence? What was the average?
Here, hold on. Another phone call. Welcome into the show. Good evening.
And I actually have the thing I was going to say to the comrade. I actually did change my pick because of I changed my pick because I found out about Shi Smith on Saturday. I first picked the Gamecocks, and then I realized, actually, I don't think they could actually do it.
Yeah. But see,
it's okay for you to do it.
I know it's okay, but the problem was, one, that's not why Rob changed it. Now here's the truth happened. Okay, Rob shot his mouth off a few weeks ago. Okay, and then on a Wednesday.
Dog.
And the SC dog, he shut his mouth off. And then on Wednesday, he had a predicament he was in. He didn't want to take the Gamecocks. He knew we were straight trash. But at the same time, he didn't feel like having to suck an SC dog's nuts. So what he did is he did the bullshit way. He went ahead and kept his word on the podcast and then slinked off the next day and changed it. And now I'm trying to tell you what I found out about Shi Smith. No, that has nothing to do with it. That's the truth. He tried to save face in the podcast and then slink off the next day and bet with his brain the next day. That's what happened. And he won't admit to it, but that's what happened. Shi Smith, that report was not out till Friday or Saturday. And by the way,
hold on, comrade. Why don't you look and see when I submitted my stuff, and it'll tell you when I changed it.
You submitted the next day. I've already saw it. The next
I changed it on Friday or Thursday. Go check it out.
You changed it on Thursday.
I changed it on
Thursday. No, on Thursday. On Thursday.
Sorry.
On Thursday.
Anyway, we'll take your calls this evening, 803-470-2905. 803-470-2905. Hot news here, gentlemen. The ACC has released their schedule for next week. Clemson and Virginia Tech will be a 7:30 kickoff on the ABC network, as the Tigers will wrap up their season in Blacksburg. Caller, good evening.
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
So I was calling to make a case for Billy Napier.
Okay.
And I wanted to
Hold on a second. My fine wife just waved by to me. Bye, fine wife.
Real quick, though, I want to verify this now. I'm seeing it right now. Rob changed his pick. Okay, our show was on the 25th of November.
Yep.
Okay, Rob submitted his pick during the show on the 25th of November. He resubmitted his new pick on Thursday morning at 2:30 a.m. Yep. He resubmitted his pick about 5, 6 before he went to bed. After he mixed the show, he edited the show. He then resubmitted a new pick. Okay, he didn't find out about Shy Smith. He went to save face with FC Dog. Don't lie. You've been called now.
Shy Smith that night.
You did not find out Shy Smith that night. No, he's not. You changed your pick. You changed your pick 4.5 hours after the show was over.
Sure.
4.5 hours because you wanted to man up with SC Dog and then slink off afterwards. It's been confirmed. You are a liar. You are a liar.
I had my
over on YouTube. Noah Sheldon 500 says South Carolina is not a Power 5 program. Well, there's something amiss here because Uncle Lou says that Kirby has never lost to a non-Power 5 team. So
what is it? I don't know.
I don't get that one.
So
Caller, go ahead.
Coaches or what?
No, go ahead. What you got, caller? Yeah, what do you got for Beamer, caller?
Now, all right, Napier, and I heard Carolina Jackpot. I think Carolina Jackpot. Don't you like Beamer?
It's not my first choice, but if that's our coach, then I'm going to support him. So yes.
I just feel like Beamer's he's at a prestige program, so obviously he's going to get good recruits, and that's like going to Clemson and being a recruiting coordinator. But I feel like Billy Napier has done more with less talent at Louisiana. So in South Carolina, you think about North Carolina.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, I guess so, but Billy Napier still never beaten App State. I mean, they never won the conference championship there. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, when we got a coach that he's never been a coordinator, and too often these coaches like Muschamp, it's a defensive guy who want to meddle with the offense, and they say, and you see Kirby Smart's a defensive guy, and he meddles with Georgia's offense. We could get a coach that's just, I mean, Beamer's been a position coach on offense and defense. I mean, he's pretty well rounded, so maybe he doesn't go to either side, and he just kind of lets his coaches do their job, I guess.
Yeah. Beamer just falls too close to the same tree as Will Muschamp. He's a good recruiter, so was Will Muschamp. He was never a head coach, just like Will Muschamp. I just feel like there's a lot of similarities between him and Will Muschamp.
Well, there's one thing also. He's never been a failure like Will Muschamp. So, we don't know.
Are you saying Beamer? Are you saying Beamer and Muschamp are alike? Are you comparing Beamer and Muschamp? They're nothing alike. Muschamp's been a coordinator his whole life. I mean, and he was a head coach in waiting. He was billed as the next great coach. Beamer's never been billed that way. I mean, Beamer, they're very different. I mean, Beamer's always been, a guy on a staff who's around great people. That's it. But Muschamp's he was Mac Brown's going to be his replacement head coach in waiting. He was a Camp Mitch candidate. I mean, the ultimate defensive coordinator, worked under Saban tree. I mean, Beamer's nothing like that. Beamer's just a guy who's been on staffs that with really good coaches, and he's been on programs that have had success and so forth. I mean, they're very, very different. I think they're complete opposite in terms of what you're hiring. I'm not saying.
Beamer got to Oklahoma 2 years ago, so the program was already a top 10, top 5 program. So it's not like
but Beamer doesn't really do anything in Oklahoma though. I mean, he's on the staff. I'm not. But Beamer has. I mean, he's around a great program and great people. He's not like running. He's not a coordinator. He's not running anything. What's that? Beamer's more like Sweeney than he is Muschamp in terms of their background, in terms of their experience. I mean, Dabo was a reach, and it worked out. I will caution Gamecock fans who point to Dabo as the reason we should hire Beamer. Okay, Dabo, is the exception that proves the rule. Okay. Now listen, I hope we Beamer's great, but I'm just saying this to throw in. Hey, well, Dabo had no experience. Put him in. Well, I could do the same thing and put my cat in as with no experience. I mean, shit, what the hell? Okay, I mean that's just be. I mean, listen, I hope it works out. I'm behind him. It looks like that's gonna be the guy we hire. And I'm coming around to it just from the fact of, I like the fact that listen, if we wait too long, I'll be pissed. The one advantage of hiring, and we can hire him right now. We can hire him tomorrow. I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow, but we can hire him tomorrow. Oklahoma doesn't need him anymore. He can come here, start getting the coaching staff together, and start doing stuff. As opposed to Napier, we got to wait till Napier, 1, gets over the COVID, 2, stops coaching his team, and by then, you're behind the 8 ball a little bit with your first staff. Your recruiting class is going to shit. It's going to go to shit anyway. Beamer's here, the first one. But at least you can start getting some transfer portal people. Maybe you can talk to some transfers, get them over here too. So I mean, but that's the only thing I think. If you truly, yeah.
Like let the caller finish, buddy. Go ahead.
I said Billy Napier's won 3 straight conference championships in a row. So I don't really see any cons to Billy Napier. And let me say this real quick. I feel like a lot of alumni.
Hold on, let him finish.
Are hopping on Shane Beamer because he was the coach there. Like if Billy Napier was the coach there, then all of them would be saying, "Oh,
that's right.
Let's get Billy,"
Oh, listen. Cal and I are both on the same page. We want Napier. I mean, Cal and I both want Napier first. Napier's our first choice. So I agree with that. And the alumni, I mean, there's a big swell. I mean, listen, there's people. I put a poll up on Twitter about 10 days ago, and I put down if you only had 2 choices, who would you hire? Okay, this was the Gamecock fans, and Billy Napier or Shane Beamer. And Billy Napier, I have to look at my vote now, won 98% of the votes. I had like 65 votes, won 90% to 2%. But there is a lot of support for Beamer. Former players like him, and because former players like him, a lot of people, alumni and Gamecock fans, kind of get behind him too. So there is. So I mean, there's many people. I hope. Listen, I get. I'm going to give Kale credit here. I do Kale as a typical Gamecock fan. I mean, not typical, but I mean, like Kale is a good barometer. Okay, when I want to throw something at Kale in terms of how the Gamecock Nation's feeling, he's pretty much got the pulse there. Okay, and when Will Muschamp was hired, Kale Hall was very much against it. I argue with him, like Gamecock fans, very much against it.
Hold on, okay. Mike, you're not giving me credit. I was against it too.
Okay, I'm talking about Gamecock fans, Jack. Fuck, you're against anybody we hire because you're a fucking
not.
troll. You're a troll. You're a troll. You're against Spurrier being hired. I'm sure we hired Spurrier. You said, "Oh, Spurrier's gonna suck."
I was not against
Spurrier's gonna blow dick. You want a Dabo fired? No, it's not about you. So anyway, but the reason why me to kill Hall credit though.
Hold on, we gotta take the caller. The caller's the caller.
But Kale was against Muschamp. But once Muschamp was hired, Kale got behind him. And supported him.
Shit. Caller, what you got?
So I just want to call in. It's me from Colorado, Tyler, and I just love what you guys do. By the way, just great watching this your guys' reactions on what's going on with South Carolina. So that's why I'm calling in. First of all, I definitely want Bobo, whatever the hell his name is, gone from South Carolina. Growing up here in Colorado, he was an awful OC. So I cannot wait for this whole thing to be just eradicated for the front office of coaches. I am done with him. I just want him gone. He can never be Colorado, and Colorado sucks. So that's why I'm calling in, because I just want him gone. That Georgia game was awful. So, but whoever comes in right now is not going to be as bad what South Carolina has right now. So literally just, this whole thing is going to be a lot better than it is. I'm being straight with y'all.
Okay.
But caller, just for a second here, I want to make sure that we all understand something. one member of this show, the gentleman that hails from the mighty Kremlin, was all over the Bobo thing and talking about Bobo's great offensive mind, and Bobo is awesome.
I think Bobo's been really good this year. Our problems are not like Bobo this year. I think our offense has done well this year. Now our offense is decimated now with our no receivers and everything else too. But I like Mike Bobo's offensive play call. Now you're talking about him as a head coach and so forth.
And the 3 steps into 3-step drops and a pop.
Have you seen Kevin Harris's stats this year, my friend? I don't know if you've seen them.
Kevin Harris is definitely the right spot for this offense. I just saw too much of it here in Colorado whenever he played at CSU. But it is interesting to see him play more with, like, SEC talent and not just guys that are from New Mexico, Wyoming, and Colorado.
Well, I don't want him as head coach. I mean, I don't want Bobo as head coach, but I think he's done a good job. Like our problem this year has not been our offense. If you were to give me our offensive numbers this year and how we've looked, I would have been fine with that, because I thought our defense was really good this year. I really thought our defense would be the strength of our team, and it's not, and that's sad. But our offense, I like the fact how we run the ball. I like how he calls plays. The only thing I had a problem with was the LSU game, is when he gave him the run really quick. It's kind of a weird game though. But other than that, I like his sequencing. I like that he has plays off of plays. I mean, last night, we couldn't block Georgia. I mean, it's not only much you can fucking do at that point. But
it was hard for me to watch that game, so it just, like, my mind just went blank, just trying to figure out what's going on, because I didn't think that we would win. Yeah. So I definitely get what you're saying on that. Like, I agree. Like, there's a lot of flashy moments, and also I expect us to beat Kentucky at the end of the year. I think we should beat Kentucky. Does anyone else think that? Because this is going to be the most hilarious game or the worst game for South Carolina.
Kentucky's offense is a show.
You guys should go down by us.
I guess it's one of those things again.
Caller, we appreciate it. All right,
Kentucky, it's where our head's going to be. I mean, I don't know if we show up. Like if we take the notion that, hey, it's our last game of the year, let's put a good game together. Let's put some good stuff on tape for the next coach. Okay, then we're all here. We didn't give up. Apparently Doty's becoming the leader of the team. Then I think we can beat them. If we go out there like, fuck, it doesn't matter, get a new coach, all these guys will be gone, screw it, then who knows what will happen. So, I don't know. I think, talent-wise, Kentucky is not that great. But Kentucky's a program that they're looking forward to next year, building something, and we have a lot of question marks about what's going to be next year's going to look like. So,
all right, caller, what do you got, man?
Well, here's what I got. So, when Spurrier got these guys into the program, they came from winning programs. They knew how to win. Now we got these guys that are supposedly good recruits coming from teams that win 4 games a year, and that you're going to get a loser to teach losers how to win, and it's just not going to work.
All right. Well, that's okay. Well, anything else, caller?
The players at their high school teams that lost? What are you trying to say?
Well, I'm saying we're getting these recruits that are good athletes, but they don't know how to win. And then we hire a loser to teach kids that don't know how to win, try to win. So we're gonna turn this shit around.
All right,
okay, I understand that too. There's a guy in the Gamecock forum yesterday who said we need to hire a proven coach who isn't washed up. And I'm like, that's a great strategy. But give me a name. A proven coach who isn't washed up. Well, you know what I mean. I'm like, no, I don't. I mean,
hire anybody you want to. You need to get somebody who knows how to win. And when I look down the list, I don't see any of them know how to win.
So, who should we get then?
Well, that's a good question. Why did we get rid of what we got?
What's that?
Why did we get rid of what we had?
What it means?
I mean, we need to have a proof. We need to have somebody who can come in. You gotta change the culture. You gotta change the attitude of these kids and teach them how to win, because none of these kids come from places where they were winning. They might be great athletes, and they are great athletes.
I mean, I haven't checked this. Are we getting kids from high schools that don't win? I'm pretty sure they all win in high school. A lot of them do. I don't follow this stuff. Brandon Kuhn, you follow this stuff.
Oh, fuck. Now we might not win. Sucks.
I mean,
thank you, caller.
Listen, I mean, if you want to teach people to win, I mean, Shane Beamer has been around winning programs. That's all he's been doing his whole life, is around winning programs. So, I mean, he hasn't done it himself as a head coach, but if you want to bring in a person who was around winning and was around winning here at Carolina, then that's one angle you can go with. Now, he hasn't done it himself, but he can come in, you know.
You never saw Shane Beamer at Kansas.
Yeah.
Or like Mizzou or somewhere.
He's been at great programs, and he was here during our heyday when we were winning 11 games a season, and first team in the state to have 3 straight years of top 10 finishes in the AP poll. Mark it down. First team ever do it in the state.
Yep. First team.
We're still taking calls this evening. Kale and Comrade are right about that. 803-470-2905. 803-470-2905. Your thoughts on the report that Shane Beamer is going to be the next head coach at South Carolina? Hey, I'll tell you one thing that I like about Beamer, and it's not something that's bad. Comrade says, I like to troll. This isn't a trolling comment. He actually wants to be the coach. He's not looking at South Carolina as like this is like a stepping stone to something else. I mean, he really wants to be the coach. That's impressive. I mean, am I wrong about that? I mean, I think that's great.
That's true, because, I mean, Will Muschamp, let's be honest, if Will Muschamp had won 11 games 3 years in a row, okay, I'm pretty sure that if, like, Auburn came open, he'd probably go. I'm pretty sure if, say, Georgia got sick of Kirby Smart, okay, and the game plays had passed Georgia, and Georgia reached up to Muschamp, I think he'd go. If the Patriots, Bill Belichick retired, and the Patriots go, let's go get Belichick's protege. Now, I'm trying to say that imagine Muschamp winning 11 straight games, 3 straight years. So don't like Muschamp sucks. I'm like, picture a world where Muschamp is like a great coach. Okay, if the Patriots called Muschamp, hey, we need to take over Belichick, he'd go. So for that point, I don't think Beamer would go. I think if Beamer was doing that here, he'd be like, no, this is my place now. Kind of like how Dabo views Clemson. Now the big question is, will Dabo leave for Bama? I would, will Dabo go to the NFL? You hear that too, but we'll see. But that is true. I don't think Muschamp would have stayed if he became like, I got the Gamecocks to Spurrier's level, 11 wins 3 years in a row. Now I'm getting all these offers. It's much easier to go to Auburn and win, or it's much easier to go to Georgia and win, or I'll go take NFL and show everybody how good I really am, whatever. So you're right about that.
What you got for the show, caller? Have at it. Hello, caller.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Roll Tide, fellas. I just tuned in. Sorry if y'all have already talked about this, but what about Brent Venables?
I don't think Venables wants to be a head coach, but I mean, I think he's earned the right to have an opportunity. But Ray Tanner said in the press conference they want an offensive-minded coach. So I don't think they would go that route. So
and Jay, I think he also said too he didn't want a defensive coordinator coming in that Jake Bentley broke records against. He said that too. He said just
that's the knock on Venables, is that he's the defensive coach. So.
Yeah, I just think you can look on the Clemson sideline, and it looks like there's a little bit of resentment, or a lot of resentment, between Dabo and Venables. And I'm thinking, man, I bet Brett Venables would just love to go against this guy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I can see that. I mean, Dad was there listening to Tony Robbins CDs in his headphones, and Brent Venables out there working his ass off the sidelines. I'd be probably a little bit pissed off too. So,
caller, thank you for calling, man. We appreciate it, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, thanks so much.
right.
All right, phone lines are open 803-470-2905.
Friday
mouth stuff. Go ahead, Kale.
Friday night. We had several games on Friday. A lot more of a heavier slate than usual. And in my Carolina jackpot picks against the spread that I do every week, like 25 games, I had Oregon State covering against Oregon, and one of our patrons over here on the YouTube chat sometimes pops in and out, Marcus Mariota. I had a conversation with him on Facebook about that, and he was kind of angry at the beginning of that game. Here's just a little excerpt from that conversation on Facebook Messenger, and I want you to hear this.
It'll only take the Beeve about 30 seconds to pull even once again, running through that mess like shit through a tin horn. That's right. I'm on the Beeve wagon now.
And his response to that would have been,
"You can be on the Beeve wagon all you want, little fella. You're going to get let down. Oregon's a monster team that will probably put 60 fucking points up tonight."
They lost, by the way.
Caller,
this was funny.
Yeah. Caller, what do you got? That's funny, Kale. Caller, what do you got?
Well, so the reason why people are talking about we need to teach these kids how to win, when Spurrier would recruit kids, he wanted kids who came from winning programs.
Okay.
So they had winning records. They knew what it meant to fight and to win. And Muschamp changed that. He got kids that were, good athletes. But not.
What's going on, motherfuckers?
So you're telling me if Clowney's high school team went 1-9, we would have been like, fuck, man, can't have you here. You win high school.
It's okay if you have a couple of them kids. That's fine.
Listen, I don't know this, okay?
That's fucking trash.
Okay, I don't know this. The kids we're recruiting, they're from high school teams they're winning 3 games a year. Like, can we confirm that? Brandon Kuhn, where the hell are you? Go through these kids in their high school careers. Most kids that we get, I'm just guessing here, if you're a D1 talent and you're playing high school football, your team is probably pretty good because of you. You probably win more games than you don't. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're getting a bunch of 2-8 kids coming in here. I didn't know it was the case.
Remember Xavier Thomas. How many games that team win?
Who's that now?
Xavier Thomas went to Clemson. How many games did that team win? I mean, he was a great recruit.
He went to IMG, didn't he? Didn't he go to IMG or Florence?
Yeah, but when he was playing, he was in Florence. How many games did they win?
I think he won a lot.
How many games did the kid from Conway win?
I don't know, buddy. I mean, the kid you talk Luke Doty at Myrtle Beach was fucking outstanding. I mean, he was. I'm not. I'm just saying he came from a program down there where they pretty much stomped on everybody's dick that they played.
What about the kids from Hammond we got? We got kids from Hammond who won every damn game they played.
Yeah, I mean, Hammond's won like 4 straight state titles. So they got Alex Huntley and Birch. So, I mean, it's.
How about Kevin Harris? Kevin Harris came from a no-winning team down in Georgia, didn't he?
Oh, so we should fucking kick him off the team then. Because he sucked dick this year, hasn't he?
He's our best player.
Now we might not win. Sucks.
I mean, so you just proved your whole logic. I saw a guy last night on 4th and 1 get stopped in the backfield, kept his feet and gone. You're like, listen, your high school team needs to win. That's why we don't win.
You need to have the majority of your kids on your team who are great athletes comes from winning programs.
And I'm saying, it sounds like most of our kids come from winning programs. We just named about a bunch of kids from winning programs. Now listen, I don't follow high school ball enough, but I know Hammond, I know Myrtle Beach. I mean, good Lord.
All right, caller. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. There's this call from this 901 area code. He wants us to call him back, so we're going to call him really quick here and try to get him in the show because he's left like 4 messages. So he said that he wants to get in here, and then we'll open the lines back up. I don't know where that guy was going. I mean, y'all all scream "Go Cox" on Saturday. That's your fan base, there, comrade. Maybe you can help him.
He uses Kevin Harris as an example.
Caller, what do you got for the show, man? Calling you back for the Rob, Comrade, and Kale show. What do you got, man?
Hey, man, I'll tell you what, I appreciate that. It's good to talk to you guys. Short-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you.
Just got a couple of questions for each of you if
Sure.
you got the time. Rob, first of all, let me just say, buddy, you got a face for radio.
I do. All right. What else?
That you do. Now, I noticed you got this thing against Georgia. Well, I think all of you do, but I'd like to explore that a little further,
Sure.
if you don't mind. Just trying to get at why all of you hate Georgia, and I'd just like to start with you, Rob. Why do you hate Georgia?
I don't really hate Georgia. I don't like their fans. It's an issue. I don't really care about
You don't
Georgia.
like- All right, I got you.
All right.
Georgia stops that ass. If I don't like him.
What else you got,
let me
man?
ask you this. I have to admit I am a Georgia fan. So just
I'm sorry.
Just a little.
We all have
time
faults.
through history here.
Sure.
Georgia and Clemson have played 7 times.
Right.
Since between 1991 and 2014.
Right.
Can you tell me how many games Clemson has won?
Georgia's won the majority of them.
Two.
The majority of them, that is correct. Clemson has actually won 1 game.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm not sure which one they won. Not sure which one they won.
2013, I think.
Can you answer a question for me, sir? Can you answer a question for me, sir, since I've been polite and answer questions for you?
I can.
Okay. Georgia won a national title in 1980. How many national titles have Clemson won since 1980?
A lot more than 1.
Try 3. Okay, there you go.
All of them are kind of asterisk next to them, though. All of them are kind of a little shady.
Comrade,
Let's be honest, though.
That 1981 one is lowbrow.
Little shady. The pick play, shady. Osterine. We got 3 shadiness.
The NCAA recognizes them, so it doesn't matter what 2 dumb fucks that are
That was Charlie Pell and Danny Ford paying players.
Hold on, let the caller finish, sir. What else do you have for the show, sir?
Well, I'll just for you, Rob, I just want to say that I do appreciate Clemson and I love the rivalry.
Thank you, sir.
Kale.
Yeah.
Kale. I'm a big admirer of your impressive vocabulary and your vernacular prowess. I just wanted you to know that.
Okay. Thank you for that,
those
sir.
lines, though, I was wondering if you could expound on your current comment about your recent fan experience as being androgynous. And secondly, if you could share just how long Will Muschamp has affected your sexuality.
He was with us for 5 years, so I would say 20% of that. So I would say at least a year.
You know what? I want to start something new on the show. If Kale wants virtual Kale to answer questions for him, I will give Kale that option. He just has to let us know.
Well, I would like to know if Kale knows the definition of androgynous.
I'm sure that Kale knows the definition of androgynous.
Yeah, and there was there's a picture of gold dust beside it in the dictionary.
Ding, ding, ding.
Well, the dictionary I looked at said that androgynous refers to displaying male and female traits and mentioned hermaphrodite.
Are you really calling and talking about hermaphrodites here? You're going to hurt the comrades' feelings.
The best example of that is the SNL skit called "It's Pat."
Yep.
That's one.
Well,
Now,
I just wanna
don't
know how-
confuse androgynous from erogenous, because you don't want to confuse those two.
How Will Muschamp made him a hermaphrodite.
Fuck you, comrade. Anything else you'd like to add to the show, sir?
Yeah, comrade.
Okay,
Yes.
comrade.
I just want to say, you don't know shit about fuck, but
You know what? You're right, because I've been on the Georgia bandwagon all year saying you were going to win the East. You know what? You shit the bed. I called Georgia to win the East all year, and you played Stedman jackass at quarterback, and you look like a moron. So you're right. So why do I hate Georgia? Because you make me look like a dumbass, and that's your team. So thank you.
Caller, what's your first name, sir?
That's not necessarily a ding on you, comrade. It's more of a compliment, actually. You don't know shit about fuck, but you do know how to creatively use profanity.
Thank you.
So
For
I compliment you.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you.
And ask you, how the hell did you end up in South Carolina? Because you obviously don't fit in there. Where did you take the wrong? Did a bus drop you off? Did you take the wrong plane?
Comrade, can I answer this for you, please, sir? Can I answer this for you, comrade?
You know the answer to this. Go ahead. You can try.
I know the answer to this. Okay. Comrade's wife is hot as fuck. That's how he ended up staying here.
But I didn't meet my wife years later, though.
That's the truth. Your ass would have been on if it wasn't for Janie. You know that.
That's not true. But yeah, she's hot. But yeah, that was But the dream of Janie is why I came down here. Number one, I came down here from New York on a recruiting visit, and I went with this girl called the Carolina Classic that show you around the campus. And I just fell in love with the accent and the women. This is the place for me. Well, yeah, but I did. Yeah, but that was years later though. I had some fun for a while, and then I settled down with a. All
right. Well, caller, what's your first name, caller?
Russell is my first name.
Russell, you're welcome to call into the show whenever you want, and don't take anything we say seriously. It's just for fun. I don't really have a problem with Georgia fans. I don't really have a problem. No, I don't fucking like the comrade though. He can eat a dick, but I don't really have a problem with anybody, to be honest. All right, well, Russell.
I enjoyed it, guys. It was great to talk
thank you, Russell. Appreciate it, brother.
Thanks, Russell.
What you want, man? All right, 803-470-2905. 803-470-2905. He said you don't know shit about fuck. That's going to be a promo for this show. Hey, comrade, you don't know shit about fuck.
real quick little clip that I wanted to share with you a while ago. That Marcus Mariota, this is what he had to say about South Carolina fans such as myself picking another team to cheer for on the side.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't blame you for having to jump onto a crappy Pac-12 team's bandwagon. South Carolina sucks more dick than all of the Pac-12 shitty teams put together.
That's just wrong.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Deeble dobble, deeble dobble, deeble dobble doo, deeble dobble, deeble dobble, deeble dobble doo. We are so much better than you.
Caller, what you got?
I got a question for all three of y'all. It's actually a two-parter, if that's okay.
Okay.
I have a question. So the first one is, what is all three of y'all's favorite Gamecock player of all time? And also, what is your favorite experience at William Bryce Stadium?
You want me to go first? Because mine's pretty good.
Okay, Rob's a Clemson fan, so fuck him.
No, I've got legitimate shit here. God damn it.
Okay.
All right. My favorite Gamecock player was probably I liked the young man from Boiling Springs, the quarterback that was kind of the balancing effect for Lou Holtz. And his name is Phil Petty. Great. I like Phil Petty because Phil Petty was steady and he wasn't it's either Phil Petty or Connor Shaw with me. I like both of those guys. And I've interviewed Petty once Marcus Lattimore a couple of times. I mean, Marcus Lattimore is just an absolute great human being. I don't even think of Lattimore as a football player. I just think of him as top-notch individual. But as far as football players, I like, and I'm not taking anything away from Petty, but I really like Phil Petty a lot. And my favorite memory in Gamecock Stadium, I was at the 63-17 game, and I took my stepdad. It was his first game in South Carolina Stadium, and he was running his mouth all the time about, oh, well, we're just going to beat the fuck out of y'all. He's running his mouth in the stands, and Clemson was up 35-17 at the half, and he's like, oh, well, time to go. I was like, no, we're not fucking leaving. I drove, and guess what? We're going to watch all of it. And that's what we did. So that's my favorite moment at South Carolina Stadium. That and the year that they played East Carolina in a rainstorm, and I think the Gamecocks pulled that win out. I can't remember, but it was flooding so bad. It was like a river flowing from the top of Williams-Brice Stadium down. And I was working for my ROTC cadet corps selling Cokes to help benefit our cadet corps. And I just remember looking up at a flood coming down. So those are my two favorite memories down there in the at Williams-Brice. Kale, what do you got?
My favorite Gamecock player of all time, Sterling Sharp.
That's a good one.
I mean, he was just electric. And I guess my favorite memory down in Williams-Brice Stadium, and God, all my shit's old. But to me, it just was just, I don't know, it just meant more than what we see now. For me, would have to have been the 1984 game against Florida State when South Carolina was undefeated. I think we were 7-0, and Florida State was like 6-1, and they were ranked like number 10, and we just absolutely beat the shit out of them. And that place was electric that day. I was only like 9 years old, 8, 9, something like that. But that one was, I can still remember that like it was yesterday. And my worst memory down there had to have been in 1990 with 54 seconds left on the clock when the Citadel option quarterback Jack Douglas dove in from the 1 yard line and gave the Citadel Bulldogs win over the Gamecocks. I think it was like 24-21 or something like that. I don't know. That was a bad day.
Comrade, what's yours, man? Hold on. Before Comrade puts this out there, in the Comrade's defense, he didn't really know much about the Gamecocks until, say, 91. Is that fair, Comrade?
But 92, really.
Okay, well, 92. So he's not really going to go back much farther than that. I think that's fair. Go ahead, Comrade.
Favorite player is Brandon Bennett, mainly because, you know, when I was a scrub player in the Gamecocks, he was a senior, and he was the best player in the team. And while freshmen are treated like shit most of the time, he was like the ultimate guy who took care of the freshmen. Just made sure everything was okay, made sure we had food, made sure, I mean, just a great guy. And on top of that, my first ever game as a Gamecock, following the Gamecocks, being a Gamecock, is he went over the top in Athens, between the hedges, to beat the Bulldogs. So combined with that moment and the kind of person he is and the player he is, he's my all-time favorite player. Lattimore is second, and Shaw's up there too, but Bennett's my favorite. All-time best moment in Gamecock in Williams-Brice Stadium, since that happened in Georgia, would have to be before I moved away from Columbia. I moved away to Ohio for a little bit. The 2000 game against Georgia, another Georgia game. Lou Holtz's first year, we finally had broken the losing streak, and that was kind of our first game. Quincy Carter coming in with Georgia. They were ranked pretty high, I remember. And our defense was unreal. I think we picked them off like 3 times, something like that. But it was kind of like the first, like you could see the light finally. Like, man, he's going to turn this program around. We got a big time coach. We just beat Georgia, and so you felt like the hope was there. So that's probably my favorite moment. You know, I like that we beat Clemson too, but I would say that one right there was probably the most thrilling because it felt like we were kind of on our way.
I think the week before that, wasn't that the week before that, the Eric Kimry fade pass?
No.
Or was that the week after that?
No, that was the week before that we beat New Mexico State week 1 to end our streak, and that was a week 2 game. I think that the Kimberly game was against Mississippi State, and that was I think that was maybe 2 weeks later. We played Eastern Michigan next, and I think Mississippi State was that week after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Caller, do you have anything else?
I just want to say, y'all rule. Y'all the best. Love what you guys do. I want to say my favorite Gamecock of all time as of right now is Kay Harris, because I'm a big offensive guy. I just love him seeing go through the tackles. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I like him for, what he does for the team. And my first Gamecock game in USC was whenever we beat Tennessee 2 years ago, where Will Muschamp was 6-0 against Tennessee, and I was with my cousin on the sidelines, or no, not on the sidelines, on the south end zone, and the entire time Tennessee fans were talking to us to our ears, saying y'all suck, and we beat their ass. So that's what I love about
They had any room to talk.
All right, caller. Hey, man, thanks for
yeah.
calling into the show, buddy. We appreciate you, man. All right, there we go. All right. So,
yeah, you tend to like the guys, for me, I'm a big Red Sox fan. My favorite all-time Red Sox players are not Mookie Betts, not David Ortiz. It's the guys that I watched when I was 13, 14 years old. So that's what happened. I'm sure the young Gamecock fans right now, I'm sure 20 years from now, their favorite player would be Kevin Harris. They'll say, I remember Kevin Harris running over LSU and running. I mean, that way, so that it sticks to you. It means more to you when you're a kid when you're watching that than it does when you become adult.
caller, welcome into the show.
Yeah, so the kind of different side of it from the last caller. Who's your guys' favorite Clemson players and memories from Death Valley? I'll take off there. Thank you.
All right. Do you want me to go first? Or you want to go first, Kale?
My favorite Clemson player.
Yep.
Oh shit. Adam Humphreys.
Oh, hold on, caller. We'll get to you. All right, there you go with that. Kale likes Adam Humphreys.
And my favorite memory from Death Valley. I don't know. I don't have any. I don't go to that dump.
Fucker.
I just don't. I don't know. I've been to 2 games over there in my entire life, so it's not a place that I choose to be.
What's yours, buddy?
My favorite Clemson player is a guy that I didn't know was a Clemson player until I got older, and that's Jerry Butler, because he played for the Bills when I was a kid, and I love Jerry Butler. Back then, they would come to the local malls in Rochester, New York, and sign autographs, and I got an autographed Bills helmet, and I love Jerry Butler. Fast forward to about 9 years later, I become a Gamecock, and I'm starting to learn my history on the rivalry, and I see this thing called the catch, and I go, who is that? Oh, that was Jerry Butler. Had a big catch against your Gamecocks. God, Jesus, I was conflicted. But I'll say Jerry Butler. Best memory in Death Valley, I would have to go with 94 was fun, but I like 96 the best. 2 crappy teams, okay, but a great game. I believe it was that Deuce's year? Or was that Hambrick? I think it was Deuce. I had a great game.
Hambrick was one that broke off a long touchdown.
Yeah, he had one too. But it was a great game because it was cold as can be. It's always cold in the shithole. But anyway, and we had a big lead, and Clemson came back.
Indoor heating.
Clemson came back, and they were driving. And one of my best friend's from Callaway, South Carolina. He's been a Gamecock fan since he was born. He's seen lots of losses at Clemson. And as they're driving down, he goes to me, I just want to leave. Like, what do you mean? He goes, I've seen this happen too many times. I know we're going to lose. Let's just go. Like, we're not going anywhere. And they drive down, and Nealon Green drops back. I'm in the end zone, the opposite end zone where they're going into, and I see a receiver break wide open. I'm looking right over Nealon Green's head on the opposite end zone. Like, oh, my God, and thank God Nealon Green can't pass. And he throws a bounce pass to him. And I said, thank God. They bring on the field goal kicker to come in, and he's sitting there, and he misses it, and the Gamecocks hold on for the win. And then we drove home in my friend's car who's didn't realize that the heating and AC in the car broke a week earlier. Didn't think it was a big deal until that night driving back to Columbia in that car, freezing, listening to a Michael Jordan Bulls Utah game on the radio.
Yeah,
I remember that.
When Nealon dropped back to pass, there was a 60% chance that Clemson was not gaining any yards.
Elon Green was famous for getting turf toe. He had turf toe forever, but
so did CJ. Spiller got that a lot too.
My favorite Clemson player, I liked Anthony Simmons and Reggie Merriweather. Those were two of my favorites. It's easy to go with Deshaun Watson, et cetera, but and they're great players too. But I really liked Reggie Merriweather because he was not your typical ACC back, but was all heart. And Anthony Simmons, I thought, was just an absolutely great linebacker for Clemson. As far as my favorite memories,
4-year starter.
Yeah. As far as my favorite memories from there, I went to the Clemson Notre Dame game when it rained and about got carried away. I'll never forget that. And the game that the comrade and I went to with Dennis Wilson, I'll remember that for the rest of my existence because comrade about got in a fight with people, and he really didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything at all.
He had Clemson.
I was rooting on my team.
Yeah.
Rooting on my
All
team.
right,
All of them.
Caller, what do you got for the show, man? Thanks for holding on. What you got?
Hey guys, I was calling in to add to some of the memories. I think one of my first as a Gamecocks fan would have to have been a CarQuest Bowl with Steve Tannehill and the guys. I watched from home, and I remember just begging my dad to take me to the airport in Columbia to see the guys come home,
right?
And getting there and waiting, and my dad was so close to leaving, but eventually we stuck it out, and eventually the guys got off the plane, and I remember seeing Steve Tannehill and all the guys get off the plane, and just I think I've probably been about 10 years old at the time, just being in awe and just enjoying that bowl win and enjoying that night and going home dog tired and falling asleep. I think of more recent memory, because I actually work on the event staff for the university, would have to be in Williams-Brice, 2012, beating the fool out of Georgia and being in that crowd and that energy and really not being able to hear myself scream and holler for that during that game. And it was right up there with it was a loss against years before that. It was a 17-3 loss against Georgia, where again I couldn't hear myself scream. And I could probably sit here and talk memories with you guys as far as Carolina football goes, and we'd probably be here another 2-3 hours talking about it. But yeah, I grew up a fan. Had to watch a lot on TV, but for me, the dream come true for me as a little boy was when I was able to get a job working. And so I'd typically work till the end of the first quarter, and I get three quarters of free football. And so I've enjoyed my time there. And as far as a favorite player, I would have to say, going back to when I was a young boy and my first game, let me see here. Would be Tannehill, but there were guys like Arturo Freeman was
Right.
one guy as a little boy that I really admired and looked up to as a little boy, and really followed him even when he went to the NFL.
All right. Hey, man, thank you for calling us this evening, bud, and sharing some memories with us. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to take calls for another 5 minutes and then get out of here.
Scott Beasley over on YouTube says Carolina Jackpot has more hair than Connor Shaw.
What the fuck is that?
That's a riveting statement. He's been full of good stuff.
And more than Frank Martin too. Have you seen Frank Martin's head?
I don't know what the fuck's
He's
going on with Frank
been
Martin's
full
head.
of all kind of good stuff over on the comment section tonight. He said, Carolina Jackpot, you can go fuck yourself about the Vanderbilt lady kicker.
He said you can go fuck yourself. Why the hate for Carolina Jackpot? Oh my God. All right. I don't get all that. Caller, welcome in. What do you got for the show?
Why doesn't Carolina Jackpot be the head coach for South Carolina?
Because Carolina Jackpot doesn't want to die from blood pressure going through the roof.
I already drink too much as it is, and that might push me over the edge. It really.
Carolina Jackpot would get Steve Sarkisian. He would turn into a pickle himself.
Okay, why don't we get all three of you to be coaches?
Because I don't want that fucking job.
Coordinator,
fucking job.
Special teams. Why don't all three of you guys? Because that would just be amazing. And then every single Saturday would be excellent to watch. And I'm being straight up.
Oh, fuck. Now we might not win.
That's exactly what happened. We would not win shit. Kale, what did you do to your dog?
He fell asleep again.
On a given Saturday. Like, y'all could recruit very well. Get the boys. Get your intensity. Get on that practice squad. Just get the pads going, get the calluses going. I got a feeling that is the future of USC football. Is all three of y'all to coach at Williams-Brice.
I don't think so. Thank you. No, I don't want that job.
He's excited, man. He just take a bump before he called it or what?
That job. I wouldn't want that job. And if they offered it to the three of us, Comrade would get behind and be like, "Hey, we got to drop this fucker Rob off somewhere. He's gonna fuck us over." I don't want that job.
Shout out to BVD over in the comment section. Big Vol Daddy, go check him out. He says, "Jackpot, whose dumpster has the biggest fire, yours or ours?" I guess it depends on which way the wind's blowing, sir.
That's a good point.
The wind coming out from them Smoky Mountains can be kind of rough sometimes, so I don't know.
Right. Jackpot, we got to pick games for this coming week. I sent you guys 8 games that I like.
Here's what we're going to do. Here's the 8 we're going to pick, okay? We're going to have 8 we're going to pick, and we got 2 backups. So we got Clemson, Virginia Tech, obviously, South Carolina, Kentucky, okay?
The Coastal Liberty game has to be in the mix.
I know.
Okay.
Let me read the things off, okay?
I'm still it's not a backup. So
let me read these, okay? So here's the 8 that I think we should have. Clemson, Virginia Tech, South Carolina, Kentucky. The Kale Hall special is Bowling Green at Akron. Florida at Tennessee. Alabama at LSU. Texas A&M against Auburn. Liberty at Coastal. And Baylor at Oklahoma. Those are the 8 that I have with our 2 backups in case we have cancellations. Oklahoma State at TCU and Arkansas at Missouri.
All right, read them one more time.
Clemson, Virginia Tech, South Carolina, Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, LSU, A&M and Auburn, Liberty at Coastal, Baylor at Oklahoma, and the Kale Hall special, Bowling Green at Akron.
Cool.
That's going to be a damn good game, too.
I think the Liberty Coastal game is going to be good.
The Liberty Coastal game is actually a legit game that I agree having on there for a change. Instead of Coastal Texas State shit that you had on. But that's like legit.
Yeah. All right. Well, I wonder when they're going to have the hiring set up there for Beamer. I think it's going to be they'll announce probably Sunday next week. I think that's when that'll happen.
It could be. I mean, that's the benefit of hiring. You can hire them quickly, so I'm not sure why they would wait. If that's what you're going to choose, do it.
Just for the purposes of this podcast, let's make sure that we put this out there because the comrade and I have had debated about this before. This recruiting class that comes in for this season doesn't count against Beamer. He's just trying to fill bodies. I mean, let's just be honest. No. This class should be shit in theory.
His first class is next year.
Right. His first true class is next year. So I say that because when we come back to it, I don't want everybody upset and talking about Beamer's class and all that. It's not really fair to say
that's for any coach. That's for any brand new any coach. You don't count that goes to their first class. Not with their first class. Their first class is the year after their hire. You know, that's when you choose it.
Anyway, so just for the purpose of the podcast, just so people understand. All right, so I am on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. Comrade is on Twitter at the Pesky Pole. If you're watching this on Facebook, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you follow Carolina Jackpot's channel. on YouTube, the quest for 9,000. And you know what? I'm putting another goal out there that we're going to try to help Carolina Jackpot with. By the 4th of July, we will have 10,000 subscribers on the Carolina Jackpot channel.
Doable. Great YouTube name over there under Matty Sims' comment. Just his name is simply Space Mountain. That like Ric Flair's Space Mountain.
Space Mountain. Ooh, that's funny. Anyway, that's our goals here. We want to get our likes up on Facebook too. I can't remember how many likes we have on Facebook, but if you can go over there and like that page, that would be awesome.
Real quick, the reason why I was told that I could go F myself in the comment section there from Mr. Beasley was because I on video today talked about the girl kicking for Vanderbilt yesterday, and I said, hell, it's football. It doesn't say it's men's football. If she can go out there and get on the damn team and do the job, then give her a shot. But I mean, she's got to be ready for whatever comes with that position. You know what I'm saying? If that it includes you having to block or do something that's going to be physically taxing to you, well then I mean so be it. But I don't know. I hate to say it that way, but I just it pisses me off that these beer-bellied couch potato bums who sit out here and we watch college football and we type in the comment section on the internet and we think that we're part of some brotherhood, some fraternity, and that puts us, high and mighty above everybody else to pass fucking judgment on everybody else. And I just think it's horseshit.
I agree with Kale. And by the way, I think I was misconstrued the other night. I'm not against her kicking. I just don't want to see her get hurt. That was
your wife beat your ass. That's
my wife. No, my wife was pissed off because I'm like, I don't want to see this happen and her out there and getting hurt. That was just my opinion. Then I did some research and realized she's taller than half the fucking Vanderbilt team. Holy shit. So anyway, more power to Sarah. Sarah Fuller, right? That's her name?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, so more power to Sarah Fuller. I was worried that she was some little 5'8" kicker that was going to go out there, and Vanderbilt, with as shitty as their offensive line is, Mizzou was going to run them over and then have three guys that are trying to knock her.
She was pretty fucking big, dude.
Yeah, she's 6'3".
If she had put on a garnet jersey and put her hair up over the top of her head, she'd look like Scenario Hutchinson.
I don't know about all that. All right. Well, we'll be back at it on Wednesday with our picks. Someone asked why we're not talking about the Pittsburgh Clemson game, because the game was the fucking blowout. What do you want me to go with on that?
We don't talk Clemson much on here. It's really about Gamecocks. They're the one that bring the eyeballs, bring the viewers. It's one of the Gamecocks. We don't talk about Clemson.
Look at all the Clemson stickers over there. Anyway,
we spend about that percent of Clemson.
We didn't talk about the Gamecock game because let's just be honest. Did you two really want to talk about the Gamecock game tonight?
I did not. We talked a little bit.
Talk about it. You'd rather talk about Shane Beamer and the future that you may have of going 4-8 with someone else. I don't know. What?
Oh, God, not win sucks.
Oh, with that, this show's a wrap.